Hello students, this is the course you are well aware guidance and counseling, and now we are taking lecture number 4 and it is the week 10, and the topic of discussion is guidance needs of socio-economically disadvantaged groups or sections of the society. Uh, we will try to understand in this particular lecture about the needs of the socio-economic characteristic features of the socio-economically disadvantaged groups, and then we will try to understand the guidance needs of this group, and we will conclude our lecture later on. So let us start our discussion with introduction. Socio-economically disadvantaged groups are those who face significant social and economic barriers that hinder their access to opportunities and resources, impacting their overall well-being and life chances. These groups often experience challenges related to poverty, lack of education, limited access to healthcare, and social exclusion. Socio-economically disadvantaged groups. And the most important uh, aspect it is facing by this population is economic barriers. And economic aspects are directly related to the access to opportunities and the resources available for the human beings. These access can be related to the education, related to the health facilities, and related to many other facilities which are available here. So, socio-economically disadvantaged groups are, or the people who belongs to socio-economically disadvantaged groups are those who are historically backward economically, socially, and educationally, because poverty is one of the important characteristic features of this group, and poverty is considered as the mother of all problems. Poverty hinders the individual to get access to education and healthcare, as well as all kinds of facilities available in the society. Who are basically considered socio-economically disadvantaged groups? And among all socio-economically disadvantaged groups, the most important components or most important constituents of this category are scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Other backward classes also constitute in this category, and economically weaker sections, uh, individuals and families with low income and limited access to resources. Although they are not belonging to other backward classes, rather they are forward, belonging to the forward caste, but they are economically weaker. They may be considered socio-economically disadvantaged groups. Minority groups are also there, and there are many religious and ethnic minorities or linguistic minorities in our country. Although we will take this topic in a separate lecture, but they are also considered socio-economically disadvantaged groups. People with disabilities means individual facing barriers to education, employment, and social participation. Three aspects are very important. If the person is not able to receive education, then he will not be fit enough to receive better employment opportunities, and his or her contribution to the society will be affected to a great extent, and he will be isolated from the mainstream of the society. Low income households, families struggling to make ends meet due to insufficient income, and all the people of the nation. I'm talking in particularly to the Indian nation. Okay, the people who are suffering from economic aspect, social aspect, and educational aspect, and they are designated in the constitution, they are basically considered as socio-economically disadvantaged groups. Now we need to understand what are basically the characteristic features of these groups. If we look into the background of socio-economically disadvantaged groups, then the most important component is related to the lower socio-economic status. When we are talking about the socio-economic status, we are talking about the income and the social status of the family. This is a foundational characteristics often marked by limited financial resources, any inadequate housing, and difficulty meeting basic needs like food and healthcare. So, socio-economic status, lower socio-economic status poses a number of problems to any family or members of any particular family. And because resources are basically linked with the economic aspect. If the person is belonging to low socio-economic category, then he or she will face difficulty in managing the infrastructure in terms of the housing facilities, and he will also face difficulty of managing the uh, food as well as healthcare facilities. And after that, comes the need of the education. So they become isolated from the mainstream of the society, and they are basically the sufferers or indirectly suffers in many aspects. Limited access to quality education. As I told you, quality education is directly related to the economic aspect of the society or economic aspects of the family. So socio-economically disadvantaged groups may experience barriers in accessing education due to factors like poverty, geographical isolation in terms of the scheduled tribes, and the people who are living in remote and areas, lack of quality infrastructure, and cultural or social biases. All factors are related to in a negative manner for the quality education. This can lead to lower educational attainment and limited opportunities for upward mobility. Education is supposed to be the best instrument for upward mobility. It brings the people from lower strata to the higher strata and provides them dignity, respect, and regard, and their horizontal mobility, upward mobility is enhanced, and they get respect and regard in the society. So the most important aspect is basically limited access to quality education. Yes, they are receiving education because of the implementation of Right to Education Act, and they are getting enrollment in the government primary educational institutions. But if we compare the quality of education available in the government schools and the quality of education available in the private schools is quite different. Number of researches have been conducted on them, and they have proved that the level or the quality of education in private educational institution is better than the government educational institution. So, belonging to low socio-economic strata, they are not in a position to provide education to their children in better educational institution where the fees and the expenditure on education is quite different. So they suffer because of the poor access or little or limited access to quality education. And this quality of education, lack of quality of education also minimizes their job opportunities, because job opportunities that particularly in almost all the sectors, whether the government sector or in the private sectors, are basically related to the quality of the individual in terms of his knowledge, in terms of his skill, and in terms of his abilities or her abilities which he or she has gained in educational institutions. Health disparities are quite open and quite prevalent in socio-economically disadvantaged groups. Socio-economic disadvantage is strongly linked to poor health outcomes. This can stem from limited access to healthcare services, inadequate nutrition, and exposure to environmental hazards. Three aspects have been mentioned here. limited access to health services because of the low socio-economic status, inadequate nutrition because they are not able to get the needed food, or the three times food in the family, or if they are managed to get it, they are not getting the adequate nutrition in that is the balanced diet. And in absence of or deficiency of certain nutritional elements, they are bound to face many complicated diseases. They may be related to their uh, fat deficiency and vitamin A deficiency and vitamin B deficiency diseases, vitamin C deficiency diseases, and many other difficulties related to their health issues. And they are also exposed to the external hazards because of the poor living conditions, and they are living in certain area where the pollution is high, living in near the rivers or any other places, and in living in the slums where the conditions are very very dirty, and they are impacting on their quality. Social exclusion and discrimination. Socio-economically disadvantaged group may face social stigma, discrimination, and expulsion based on factors like caste, religion, ethnicity, gender, or disability. This can further limit their access to opportunities and resources. These people are always face difficulty. These are basically the grounds where the person can face in many situations exclusion or discrimination. We have seen plenty of cases discrimination based on the caste, based on the religion, based on ethnicity, based on gender, and based on disability. The social exclusion or discrimination is supposed to be important characteristic features of socio-economically disadvantaged group. If the person is socially excluded and discriminated, then he or she is being kept away from availing the opportunities available in the society of education, of healthcare, and other facilities which are needed to survive in the world. Psychological and emotional challenges are also quite apparent. Economic aspect, lack of education, low inferiority complex, they are also basically related to the characteristic features. They are interlinked. The cumulative effects of socio-economic disadvantage can lead to increased stress, anxiety, and depression, impacting mental health and overall well-being. They consider uh, disadvantageous in almost all the circumstances, and they consider they are inferior, which leads to inferiority complex, and their aspiration level is also down or lowered, and their self-concept is also lowered, and they make little effort because they consider that we are not fit enough to receive our place in this highly discriminated society, which is based on caste, region, religion, ethnicity, and other aspects. So mental health and mental well-being is also disturbed, and which leads to a number of problems in our society. Limited social network and support system. Socio-economically disadvantaged groups may have limited access to social networks and support system that can help them navigate challenges and access resources. This poverty is basically keeps these groups in vicious circle where they are not getting any support from from the members belonging to their categories. There are people who are placed in the virtual circle, and they directly or indirectly get the support for the upward mobility, and these people being poor, isolated, having low educational opportunities, and socially maladjusted or discarded or expelled from the society, face difficulty in managing their adjustment better, and this isolation is basically provides limited social network and support system for their upward mobility. Geographical disadvantages are also associated because certain geographical areas may have a higher concentration of socio-economically disadvantaged group, often characterized by limited infrastructure, inadequate public services, and, and fewer economic opportunities. Keeping this aspect in mind, national education policy talked about to concentrate in the zones where socio-economically disadvantaged groups are more in number, and they asked to pay special attention to this population because they are also the member of the society and their participation is also very important. Their individuality must be given chance to develop, and their contribution is also needed for the society. Then when we will provide education to them, provide economic opportunities for them to survive and to move upward, then they will definitely change their own family status and they will contribute for the nation and for the society. Barriers to higher education are quite open because access to education at all levels is affected. Socio-economically disadvantaged groups often face a steeper decline in enrollment and completion rates in higher education. If they enter in higher education because of their poor quality background at school level, they find it difficult to engage in academic tasks and retain there and complete their courses. Therefore, the dropout rates are quite higher. Low educational aspirations, as I told you, if the person is suffering from emotional and social isolation, or emotionally disturbed persons are supposed to have low educational aspiration. Lack of parental education, negative school experiences, and limited exposure to educational opportunities can lead to low educational aspiration and achievement of the student. And now we have inadequate educational infrastructure, poorly equipped schools, lack of learning materials, and inadequate sanitation facilities can negatively impact the learning environment because these are basically receiving education in those schools which are controlled or governed or financed by the government, and their quality of education and the environment in which they provide education is not parallel as it is in the private educational institutions. Now we will discuss what are the counseling needs of socio-economically disadvantaged group students in the schools. After knowing their characteristic features, now it is essential what aspects we can think or plan and implement in providing the guidance to this population. Five aspects have been mentioned here. Academic support and skill development is one, and emotional and social well-being is second, and the career and post-secondary planning is the third aspect, and which is given more significant and should be given more significance by the counseling team. Financial and practical support is also needed for this group of students and creating an inclusive school environment. Let us understand what is basically related to the academic support and the skill development. Learning difficulties, socio-economically disadvantaged group students may experience academic difficulties stemming from factors like limited access to resources, learning disabilities, or lack of prior exposure to quality education. So they are involved in the learning difficulties. So we have to provide them academic support and skill development. Academic skills like management skills, time management skills, concentration skill, reading skill, listening skills, and skill in managing the course content and approach towards that is also very important, and that is the part of the guidance and counseling. Bridge course many times provide very valuable support to the people belonging to this group. Offering bridge courses before the commencement of regular academic program can help socio-economically disadvantaged group students uh, to bridge the knowledge gap and prepare them for higher education. There is a practice of providing in many educational institutions, and Aligarh Muslim University is also providing a bridge course for the people who are having poor socio-economic background and their quality of education is not as per the standard of quality oriented educational institutions. They can offer 1 year bridge course and they are considered to fit and proceed at the pace of the present quality provided in the university and in university education. So academic support and skill development are very important, and for that we need to understand the learning difficulties and we have to provide them bridge course opportunities, and study skills are also very important in academic aspects. Counseling sessions focusing on developing effective study skills, time management techniques, and test taking strategies can significantly benefit students struggling with academics. These are the simple tasks, but if taken in a sequential manner and implemented in its real spirit to educate the socio-economically disadvantaged groups where they face difficulty, because they are not having how to study. So effective study skills are always needed for every student, but they are more needed to the disadvantaged group students. So time management is also very important. They are lacking in their managing the times. So time management techniques need to be provided to them, and test technique, how to appear in the test and how to present the material over there and how to get the better marks or how to write in the examination and how to get rid of from the stress and anxiety from the examination. These are basically the skills, and remedial classes are also very become very beneficial in enhancing the academic standard of this population. Providing remedial classes and peer tutoring to address specific academic weaknesses they fail to match with the pace of the learning in normal classroom due to their low IQ level and miss many conceptual understanding. There is a possibility that they may not be able to develop the concept which is needed to learn the further education. So if they are lagging behind in their education, then remedial classes are basically supposed to be the great tool in making their concept clear, and with this clarification of the concept they are in a better position to match up with the standard of the class. Uh, Another aspect is related to the after academic aspect. Now we are moving to the emotional and social well-being. Mental health concerns are also related to the emotional and social well-being. Socio-economically disadvantaged group students may be more vulnerable to mental health issues like anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem due to pressures associated with their circumstances. As we know, poverty and social exclusion has its negative impact on the mental health of the student. So these students, although in educational studying in educational institution, but their stress, their anxiety, and the depression and their esteem is self-esteem is low, and stress, anxiety, and depression is high. In such circumstances, it is not possible to expect them to achieve up to their potential. So, guidance and counseling team should also consider the aspect that they need to work on their mental health issues by providing social and emotional and social well-being. Building self-esteem. Counseling sessions can help students develop a positive self-concept, build confidence, and address feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt. We need to develop among them self-esteem, enhance their motivation level, enhance their self-concept level. They should consider that they have the capability, and they have the abilities to perform well, and they can get the success in their academic and other job opportunities tasks. Social skill training is also very important because social exclusion leads to many number of difficulties, and which is also linked to the lower self-esteem and also linked to the higher stress and anxiety level. Providing guidance on developing healthy social skills, navigating peer relationship, and addressing issues like bullying or discrimination can create a more inclusive environment for these students. Skill development are very important. How to cooperate, how to collaborate, how to uh, coordinate with each other. Cooperation, coordination, collaboration, teamwork, and participation in so many activities provides opportunity for the student to develop their social skills, and when they develop their social skills, they interact with other students and their emotional well-being enhances. Third aspect is career and the post-secondary planning. Career guidance. Counselors can help students explore diverse career paths, understand industry trends, and align their interests and strengths with suitable career options. Their family background characteristics should be identified by the counseling team in order to guide them in areas where chances for the success are better. The career guidance must be linked to their need and the requirement and the interest. And for this, one aspect need to be taken into consideration. If their quality education is low, then we have to provide remedial classes and there are other opportunities, and we sometimes the students belonging to this category are not in a position to carry on their education for longer period of the time. So for such student, there is a need to guide them for vocational and skill development courses. Post secondary transition means providing guidance on college applications, financial aid options, scholarships, and workshop readiness program can prepare students for a successful transition after high school. After high school, they have to enter in higher education, and there at higher education level, there are various student services available, and these services are for the benefit of the student, for the benefit of the students belonging to socio-economically disadvantaged groups. Especially scholarships are there, and many financial options are also there, and they can be discussed with the student, and awareness and opportunities must be made known to this population by the guidance team. Skill development is very important aspect. We have discussed in previous point also, offering workshops on soft skills like technical skills, how to use the technology in education, and getting knowledge and utilizing in other aspects of our day-to-day life, and career readiness can equip students with the skills required to navigate the evolving job market. Fourth aspect is financial and practical support. Financial assistance is also needed because they belong to the socio-economically disadvantaged group. So guiding a student on accessing a scholarship, fees waivers, and educational loans can significantly alleviate the financial burden on socio-economically disadvantaged groups. A number of policies have been prepared by the government in order to support the education of socio-economically disadvantaged groups. But the problem is that these socio-economically disadvantaged groups are not fully availing those facilities, and there is a need to provide awareness program in this regard also, so that we are providing them the awareness or enhancing their awareness level, and they are using these facilities and uplifting their standard of education in terms of economic and social aspects also. Earn while learn program. There are many earn while learn programs. Implementing earn while learn schemes can help students acquire valuable work experience and support their education financially. And fifth, and the last, probably the last part, creating an inclusive school environment. Cultural sensitivity. Counselors and educators must be culturally sensitive, respecting the diverse backgrounds, values, and beliefs of the socio-economically disadvantaged groups. They are very particular, they are very conscious about their culture, very particular and conscious about their beliefs and the values, and they must get respect in a school environment, and we need to be culturally sensitive. We have to create an environment which is culturally sensitive, and students belonging to the different culture are being treated on equal ground, provided equal opportunities of engaging in all academic and non-academic environment, and the teacher is also dealing them based on their cultural backgrounds. Outreach programs are also becomes very beneficial in this regard. Developing and implementing outreach programs to connect socio-economically disadvantaged group communities and raise awareness about available support and resources. So outreach programs, which are supposed to be one of the responsibility of higher educational institutions, become very instrumental. Guidance and counseling team can also suggest to the university department what programs they have to implement so that they are assisting to the socio-economically disadvantaged groups. Sensitizing stakeholders. Here we have to sensitize the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders here? Sensitizing teachers, administrators, and wider school community to the challenges faced by socio-economically disadvantaged group students can foster an environment of understanding and support, because if we are providing education to any particular group, then every individual who is associated to the educational institution, whether it is a teacher, whether it is an administrator, or whether the members of the community, which includes NGOs and politically conscious people, and and many healthcare uh, groups are available in the community, they must be involved, and we have to create an environment of inclusive school environment. The classroom environment should be supportive to these students as they demonstrate low self-concept and low motivation level. So teacher should be conscious about the cultural needs and the needs of socio-economically disadvantaged group. He or she should be very well clear in his mind about the characteristic features and the personality characteristic features of this group, and it must be their teachers must be guided by the guidance team to take positivity in the learning environment, and create an environment where the needs and the requirements of every member of the classroom is being meet out. Teacher should demonstrate cultural competency skills. Cultural competency means that you are well aware, you have the knowledge of your culture, and you are having the knowledge of the culture of your students, and you are basically providing uh, the learning environment in such a manner the needs of all the people belonging to different cultures are being met out. In concluding remarks, we can say by proactively addressing these counseling needs, schools can create a more inclusive and supportive environment that empowers socio-economically disadvantaged group students to overcome challenges, succeed academically, and achieve full participation. Three aspects are very important. Okay, there are challenges. We have to find out what are the challenges, and we have to engage them in the academic tasks and provide additional support, and also enhance their self concept and their participation in many academic and non academic aspects, so that they can develop their full potentials. If they will be able to develop their full potential, then they will be contribute to their society and the family, and ultimately to the nation. So with this, students, we have completed this lecture. Thanks for your patience listening, and God bless you all.